Isaac Joseph, the Benjamin Bedouin, MYDYR. As my memories from the 60s become more refreshed, like I told you, people don't believe me being only 61 that I couldn't have been a Vietnam veteran or a Granada veteran. If you're a veteran, you know you're lying to me. You got secrets to keep, and you're afraid the government will try to kill you, like they've tried killing me. Now, YaHuWaH has set me and Dawid apart for these times. And I want you to look at that sucker. That, my friend, somebody in this cafe identified this as I got stabbed. Oh, how marvelous, how to get stabbed. He thought maybe I got ensnared by a bamboo shoot or something trap. Well, it's a gun wound. Look at that. Look how. So why has it come out only in the last 50-something years? Well, I've got another corroborating fact I want to share on here. Dr. Aaron Combs did surgery on me in 1988 on my right knee. He told me I was taking steroids. I told him, Dr. Combs, I have never taken a steroid in my life. And he was adamant about me taking steroids. So I'm going to tell you what the military does. When they take your children out of the elementary school and issue a false report that he's in the hospital or something happened to your parents and they'll be back soon enough and you just don't know, that's exactly what happened to me. These elementary schools and these middle schools are even used to traffic your children. I was trafficked through Cassis Elementary as a young boy. Now, what do the steroids cause? The steroids cause developmental pause in developmental abilities. They inhibit puberty. They inhibit growth. In fact, a lot of steroid users have been known to be shorter. Now, while I'm barely over 6 feet tall, you got to look at my little brother Mark. He's like 6'4", 6'5". And my developmental capabilities were inhibited by the steroids, along with the other pharmacological enhancements they were doing to me. And I'm going to tell you what, this ought to be darn proof to you. I'm going to try to give this to you from another angle. This is today, October the 28th, 2025. So why now? There is a lot more to this story, but I wanted to give this to you, and I'm going to probably give this to you as a short in 2 parts. So please watch the other video that follows from this. But I'll tell you what, there's a way to get this back on me. I'm going to get you back on my face. I'm trying to get you back on my face. The camera won't shift. So anyway, look at that. I'm going to show you this. This is not a spider bite. I have, since 2018 when I went to the Carolinas, I started peeing and crapping orange. This is a wound that no one will dispute is a result of Agent Orange poisoning. Even if I was 5 years old, 10 years old, even if they post-dated my birth date to reflect that I was never alive during these times, although I darn well remember a lot of things that happened before my Texas birth date, including being in France, including the things that my siblings were trying to tell me, including the fact that while I was in jail in South Carolina, they killed my brother Joe because he was trying to tell me things. And he told me one critical thing. He told me he thought I was choking Mark coming out of the womb. How could I choke my twin brother? Because I was choking Matthew John the real twin brother. I was shocked at a lot of things my brother Joe was telling me. But see, when they got me framed and thrown in prison in South Carolina, they killed my brother. I'm going to tell you who's responsible for most of the havoc in my life in the last 30 or so years. Southwestern Seminary professor and pastor of High Point Baptist Church, Dr. Juan R. Sanchez, who I can gather is actually the son, the bastard son of Herbert, another bastard son of Herbert Walker Bush. And he is a bastard son of Bush. He never talks about his parents, never spoke about them. He has past sermons that he took offline that identify him as a relative of the Bushes, and he's a Rockefeller, and yet you can be Puerto Rican, you can be Spanish and be a Bush. You ought to know that by now. But you know, Herbert Walker was trying. My dad stood up to Herbert Walker Bush even when he was in the CIA. My dad wouldn't hand me over. And Herbert Walker Bush told my father in the 60s, if you don't hand him over, we're going to take him from you. My dad fought long and hard. I always wondered why he was being overprotective of me even as a teen. Now I know why. My dad was always watching when I didn't know it. I'm going to tell you, my dad was a good man. You know, he did 2 tours at the University of Texas at Austin, ROTC. Actually, it looks like he had a degree in electrical engineering himself, and he never told me about that. But he's an alumnus of the University of Texas at Austin. And, you know, the winds are blowing out here in the Northwest, but I'm going to tell you what, I'm so glad to be as far away from Texas as I can possibly get. But Dr. Juan R. Sanchez himself doesn't stop trying to influence me his way, and it's never going to happen, Jack. You're under the judgment of YaHuWaH. You'd be best served to hurry up and repent, because YaHuWaH is going to do some things to you that are very bad if you don't. I can't do anything. But, you know, when you mess with YaHuWaH's anointed, you try to, you know, these church pastors and the Southern Baptists, they cover up for Dr. Harold E. O. Chester. They cover up for Dr. Juan R. Sanchez. They cover up for Mark Dever. They cover up for all the perverts who are involved in trafficking. And I'm going to tell you, that 9 Marks church, that scam that people believe, that's a trafficking operation. There's prostitution and all kinds of liquor and drugs going on in that thing. I'm going to tell you, Mark Dever is on more drugs than anybody you're ever going to find out. And some of these suckers take adrenochrome. And they're so motivated to never get caught for what they've done that they will submit to mind control rather than save face, rather than repent to the Creator and turn to Him, and you're going to lose everything. You will lose everything. But see, we are so close to the tribulation that it doesn't look like they're going to repent. This is a bullet from Vietnam, or this is possibly my leg got caught in a trap in a cage. I have other corroborating things that I could tell you about. Like some of my behaviors, like I just choke anybody. Where did I learn to choke somebody? I didn't learn that from my father. The military took me without my father's knowledge and did this stuff to me. Taught me how to fight. Taught me everything. And that the other corroborating thing is, why often in Austin did I have so many cops surround me when they wanted to question me about some stupid thing, even when I was preaching? You know, and there are some people in Texas who know about this, and they're not willing to come forthright. And I know that the people who have died, they have the intel, they're considered dead. Well, this is Isaac Joseph, the Benjamin Bedouin. If you don't want to believe this, go ahead and take it to the Spirit of YaHuWaH. Ask Him. Ask Him. I would not lie to you, but I remember things before my Texas birth date says I was alive. This is an element of mind control to dissociate. which I'm dissociated from. Well, Shabbat Shalom, signing out.